strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Hey everybody, it's Bulldog, and for the first time in 40 days, I am making a YouTube video. And that's because I've been on a break from the game. I didn't feel the need to make any formal announcement or anything like that. I just let my supporters know who are donating so that they didn't continue to donate to somebody who's not making videos currently. But a lot of people haven't even known. People continue to ask me questions about the game. I tell them that I'm not playing, I'm on a break, I've quit. And the biggest question people have is why? Why did you quit? And I say quit. I will be back. I can guarantee you I will be back probably sooner rather than later. I've taken a break from the game twice in the past. I've taken a break intentionally twice in the past, and both times I've been back in about a month. I think we're at about a month right now, so I don't know when I'm going to be back. I don't feel like I'm coming back any day. It's not just around the corner, but I'm not completely retired. I will be back, but everybody wants to know why. What are the reasons you are on a break? And I feel like Ross right now. I said on a break about 15 times already. So hopefully some of you will actually get the Friends reference. I'm old now. Anyways, why am I actually on a break? So let's dive into this, and I will give my biggest reasons for quitting, as I'll call it for the moment. And the first one is 3 versus 3. It's not a coincidence that I stopped playing as soon as 3 versus 3 started in Grand Arena. And I know some of you love this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this. This one obviously is a little controversial. Grand Arena was the only thing that I was really enjoying, and when it switched to 3 versus 3, I really had nothing that I liked. So that was probably kind of the straw that broke the camel's back in a way. And like I said, I know some of you love it. I'm not gonna spend 10 minutes talking about why I hate 3 versus 3. I probably could, but half of you would get annoyed at me talking about how I hate it and would flip the video off, and the other half also hate it and don't need me to tell them why they hate it. So let's move on to the next one. There's not much to go in there, and honestly, there's not much to go into here either. No new content. This is not a surprise. A lot of you like 3 versus 3 in Grand Arena just because it's something different. I know there's people that they'd prefer 5 versus 5, but hey, 3 versus 3 is actually something different, and we never get anything different. So that's why they like it. And I'm not saying that's why everybody likes it. I know some of you really enjoy that. But really the only thing new that there's been is the light side territory battles, which the majority of the player base can't even play to begin with. It's really just a reskin of something that we already have, and it is so brutally hard, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel rewarding. It doesn't feel like something we want to play. I've always hated how we progress in territory battles anyways, because the biggest thing is just GP and guild GP, and it's not even something that really feels that fun to play. But anyways, I don't really need to go in. I guess I want to say one other thing, because I was shocked that we didn't get a bunch of new content with the new movie. And until I really thought about it, and I bet there's some new content coming around the corner. They've been saying it's coming, so I'm not saying it's not a huge bold prediction or anything. But the path that the devs took actually makes a lot of sense, to kind of defend them for a second here. The movie is their promotional thing right now. They don't need new content to bring new players in or players back. What they focused on was that hyperdrive bundle that is generating, I don't have numbers, but looking at the new arena shards, that hyperdrive bundle is generating a ton of new revenue and is making all the new players, if you want to be competitive at the top, you have to spend money. You have to buy that hyperdrive bundle, no questions asked, or it's going to take you probably over a year to catch up, if you ever catch up. So they did a great job of monetizing all the new players that are coming in. And from a business aspect, I can't really criticize them for that. I think they've probably done an excellent job there. It's unfortunate for all the veteran players, but hopefully they're going to have a lot of new content around the corner. They're relying on the movie to generate that interest. Eventually that's going to die down a little bit, and that's when they'll bring in the new content to keep people playing or bring bring veteran players back or whatever it is. So hopefully that's the path that they've taken, and I can't necessarily blame them for that. But that doesn't help me right now, and was certainly a reason why I stopped playing. So those two were kind of minor things. The big three are coming up next, and if any of these three suddenly tomorrow wasn't true, I would instantly be back in the game. And the first one is I don't have a public account. So I talked about earlier, I like making YouTube videos. That's why I'm doing this right now, even though I'm not even playing. I like making the videos, and it's a lot harder to do without having an account that I can be public with. I can't even test things in Arena with people because I can't communicate with my Arena shards because they can't know that I'm even the one running an account. So I obviously had an account that was hidden, at least somewhat hidden, so that not everybody knew what it was. And I couldn't tell the whole Arena because if anybody doesn't like me, there's a lot of people out there that do not like me for what I did. If any of them doesn't like me, they can gather up enough people to report me that account would be banned. So I couldn't tell the whole Arena or anything. I'd be very selective with who I actually let into that. And it made it harder to do things. And so that was a big reason I didn't have a public account. I could get a public account, but I have to start over. And if I want to start over, I have to buy that hyperdrive bundle because I can't start over and not be competitive. I don't like starting over to begin with, but I'm also competitive. No way I could start over and not be in the top 50, top 100 of Arena and generating that crystal income. I could probably do a whole new video series on that starting from the beginning as a free to play. Could probably even generate enough money that I could spend enough to be competitive. But I just don't like that. I spent 4 years developing the account. I don't want to go back and do it from the beginning. I just don't. And I don't know. I don't want to do that. So anyways, on to reason number 2. Arena is a major chore. I hate the Arena setup, and I used to love it. Arena, back when there wasn't that much to do. We didn't have raids. We didn't have territory wars, territory battles, all these things like that. Arena was the meat of this game, and I actually thought it was fun. And at least my Arena shard initially was competitive, and every day at payout time it was a fight to get number 1, and I didn't get number 1 all the time. Sometimes I spent more on the refreshes than I actually made for the day, but whenever I got first, it felt like an accomplishment and it was fun. And we've just moved past that phase. We honestly have, and now Arena is just a chore. There's all these shard chats set up, and it's more like a job. Okay, you've got to do your 6 or 7 Arena battles, 6 or 7 ship battles. At least that's what it was for me. My teams weren't good enough where I could just completely auto it, so I did have to actually play them. Every once in a while, you have a day where RNG went against you and you lost a bunch of battles, and then it took even more time, and that made me want to chuck my phone against the wall. But the Arena battles were just not fun for me. And you had to spend all this time at a specific period, specific time during the day. And if you weren't available for that time, you lost out on 300 or 400. If you missed out on Arena and ships, I mean, sometimes you were missing out on 600 or 700 crystals that were kind of essential if you were free to play to have that Arena income. It's a very different game if you're not up there at the top of Arena. So I felt like, again, I'm very competitive. I felt like I had to keep playing those Arena, and that was a huge drain on me. And I just hated that. I think something needs to change there. And it would, at this point in the game, it would really be hard for the devs to actually change that, because anything they do, whether it's adjusting how Arena is run overall, or if it's shifting the income that you get from Arena to something else, like if they shifted it to Grand Arena, I would love that, because then Grand Arena you can play at any point during the day, but then it's going to be different because people are matched up more. You get different matchups, and most people aren't winning Grand Arena all the time, so you'd have a drop in revenue maybe there. So that would be a little different. If they however they would change things up, people would push back against it. I do think the devs just need to suck it up and make a change that would be better for the game in the long term, even if people hate it short term. But anyways, I could actually that's probably a good idea. I might make a full-on video about how they could change Arena to make it better. and I think I might do that. So let's move on for now. I think my main point and reason why I hate arena is clear enough. So on to reason number 1, and that is that progress is gated by the guild that you are in. And this is without a doubt the number one thing that drove me away from the game, at least temporarily, is every new thing is based on the guild that you're in, and it makes you feel like you have to jump up to higher guilds. And my account was actually locked to a guild, so I couldn't have left if I wanted to. My guild was awesome and donated that account, but I liked the guild anyways. I wouldn't have wanted to jump up. I have in the past left guilds to get to something higher. I mean, it's not a new thing in the game. I hated leaving every time I did that, and I felt dirty leaving a guild that I liked just to progress further in the game. But it sucks that we're put in that position, and in the past we've kind of been put in that position. Now it is worse than it ever has been, because now you have, I mean, so Malik and General Skywalker, those legendary characters used to have nothing to do with what guild you were in. And now, okay, you can unlock them, but you only get them at 5 stars, and then you have to use the guild currency to get them higher up. And most of that comes from your territory battle, so you need to be in a high guild in order to progress fast enough. And it's not only the meta characters, the meta legendary characters, or whatever they're calling it. It's also with ships. You've got the 2 new capital ships that are gated by a second guild event currency. And again, some guilds, especially those that can't even do they have to go back and do Hoth, and you don't really get that much GET2 from that at all. So it really pushes people to leave their guild, and if you want to stay in a guild that's not top level, you kind of get left behind. And it's like I said, it's been that way when new raids come out in the past. That was kind of the big thing. But getting a new raid character is nothing like we see right now. Or getting, okay, so Hermit Yoda or Wampa, those weren't that big of a deal in the past, getting those. I mean, yes, you got them faster if you were with a top guild that could do those initial territory battles faster. But they didn't have the impact on the game as somebody like Watt, for example. And yeah, he's not dominating arena, but he is a huge player in Grand Arena. And that is huge. People are jumping guilds to get Watt. Getting somebody like, okay, previously in the raids, you could get Kenobi, you could get Traya. Traya was kind of the first, I shouldn't say the first, but Traya was one of those characters who completely changed the meta. And I know some did before that with CLS, and there are numerous examples. Traya was probably the first huge jump that we saw. So that was one, I believe that was one point where I had actually left the guild to get to a higher one in order to get those faster. But even then, sometimes players in the lower guilds will get Traya faster because they're getting first in the raid in a lesser guild. So there's a little bit of a balancing act there, and it's just not the same as what we see now. It's gotten to the point where you get left behind from in Arena or in Grand Arena in your individual game modes if you aren't in a top guild, and I absolutely hate that. And that's definitely been the biggest factor in me leaving. I like to do these videos, I like to theorycraft, but I'm in my guild and I can't get what? I can't get the new characters. We went back and did Hoth for the light side territory battles because people were getting wiped and not even completing a phase in the new one. And that's kind of another thing. So getting to a top guild for the new Geonosian territory battles don't progress the same way raids did in the past. So I loved raids, and obviously I'm biased. I hate territory battles, I love raids, so I'm going to be biased here. But when we got to a new guild, when we formed a new guild to beat the Heroic Sith raid, like that actually felt fun because we were coming together and everybody was helping each other, working on specific teams and that type of thing. With light side territory battles, you don't see that because it's not the thing where, I mean, yeah, you can help each other beat the territory battles a little bit, but it's mainly just GP, and that's not necessarily a fun thing to progress through. I mean, nobody rallies together to raise GP. I mean, come on, it's much more fun to rally together, to come up with strategies and help your guildmates with strategies to actually beat each phase of the raid or that type of thing. And that was much more enjoyable. So here it's like, oh yeah, the game's trying to force you to jump up to a higher guild, but then we're not doing anything exciting at that higher guild. We just have more GP to deploy, so we can actually beat the light side territory battles or dark side or whatever it is. Yeah, like I said, there are some battles there, but it's just not the same. So, anyways, I don't need to ramble on anymore. Those have been the biggest reasons that I am currently on a break from Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I will be back at some point. If they announce a new raid tomorrow, I guarantee you I would be back. There's basically two reasons that that will bring me back to the game probably, and that is new content, specifically a new raid. Especially if I find a way to break one of the phases again, I'm sure they'll take better steps to make sure the raids go smoother whenever it's released. But even without breaking the raid, just playing a raid would probably bring me back to the game. Or if I happen to stumble on a huge account, I've got a pretty nice account that I could come back to right now. But if I happen to stumble on a huge account that actually had all the top characters that I could play around with, that would probably bring me back as well. I don't anticipate that happening. It's probably going to be new content that brings me back. So I don't know. Yeah, I never really know why I'm going to come back until I do. But I know I've been losing a lot of subscribers because I've kind of been retired, and that's okay. That's not a big deal. But don't feel like you have to unsubscribe because I will be back, and we will get back to having some fun. But this is why I'm on a break for right now. So feel free to leave comments. You guys can continue to message me. I don't mind helping people out with things, or some people are still getting into the raid, newer players. There's a lot of newer players that are just jumping into like the Heroic Sith raid and have tons of questions, and they always come and ask me that, and I don't mind that whatsoever. Even though I'm not playing, I still like to answer questions and talk to the community because that's always been the best part about this for me. So feel free to continue to message me on Discord or wherever, and I'll still try to reply. So thanks a lot for listening and for everybody's support, and I will probably try to do at least one more video about what I would do if I was Capital Games in Arena to change that part, or maybe throw out a couple suggestions. So be on the lookout for that video. But otherwise, we're gonna sit tight, and eventually there will be gameplay videos coming back. But who knows when? So thanks a lot, guys, and happy gaming.